Coming to you from Strings and Things Studio in Ventura, California, I'm Karin.
I'm Kaity.
I'm Ann.
And this is the Strings Unraveled podcast.
Ooh.
I got it right the first time. With a cheat.
I'm sure the listeners believe that you always get it right because Kaity crafts it, so it sounds like you
edit
always
it
get
so
it right.
Sound like we're so smart every time, and we never have to remember how the intro to our podcast goes. Even though we do it every month, and it's been 40-something
a lot of times.
Oh, well, welcome to June, everybody. Woo! It's almost summertime.
Yep.
20-something days, right?
Yep.
Well, who wants to go first with what they're working on?
I want to go last.
Okay. I'll go first.
All right, go, Kaity, go.
I am working on, currently in my hands, a crocheted cardigan that I'm sort of testing the waters on. I'm not convinced that I want to teach it, but I'm looking for another crochet sweater pattern to teach. So this is the same designer, Evelyn and Peter, of the other
Stony Shore.
Stony Shore, thank you.
I have a hard time remembering its name.
Yep. So this is called the Carl cardigan, which is, they describe as a cropped grandpa style cardigan. So it's a pretty classic, like, V-neck.
Because grandpa always wore them cropped.
Yeah, maybe not not cropped traditionally, but a basic button-up V-neck kind of cardigan with a little cropped length. But you could customize that easily and make it longer or shorter or whatever. So that's what I'm crocheting right now in some Lion brand fisherman's wool that I had in my stash. Yay. In like an oatmeal-y color. So it's pretty boring at this point because it's long rows of double crochet in a beige oatmeal color. So it's not super exciting at this point. I'm also working on Parachutey. That's the tank top Stephen West pattern that I talked about last month. I finished the back. I finished the front and I started the back. The back is not very long yet. But then this is the front.
Ooh.
That I am holding up for Ann and Karin to see.
Cool
Ooh.
So this is the front. It sort of
I think I want to make that.
That
looks so comfortable.
It's like the washcloth that we teach in beginning knitting.
Kind of.
Turns into a sweater.
Yep.
Just with a neckline.
It's a strange shape,
sort of.
isn't it?
Yeah, but it's cool though.
Yep.
What fun it must be.
It is fun. The back is a little more boring because you start at the top and you just increase until you've basically filled in the shape. Eventually they get attached to each other, so it's going to be a larger piece, so I sort of stalled on it because I got the fun part done.
Yeah.
But I'm still doing the mix of scrap yarn and stuff. I think I talked last month about how I thought I wasn't going to have enough of my background color. I completely am right because this is the end of my second ball.
Dear. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I'm debating buying a third one to fill in, or I have some other browns that I could sort of fade into. But with so much going on with all the other colors, I have a feeling I might buy another ball of it just to keep it a little bit more uniform.
Have some continuity?
Yeah, I haven't decided yet. So it's sort of been in timeout until I make that decision. But I worked on it this week, so I'm counting it. I have 2 quilts in various stages of production. One of them is called Charm Pack Squares is the name of the pattern I just bought.
Oh.
From Allison Ramsing, I think is her name on Instagram.
I love it.
So it takes
that's so cool.
one charm pack that you piece together in a 4-patch and turn into the center of these big star blocks. And there's 9 big stars. Mm-hmm. And it is all quilted and put together. It needs a binding on it, so that is, I haven't bought the binding yet, so
I like how you finished your edges though.
Yeah, I used my serger to serge the edges of the quilt after I quilted it.
That's awesome.
Make
super smart.
Some very smart person on Instagram did that, and I was like, oh, I have a serger, I could do that.
Yeah.
So I did that today.
Can I say that is such an awesome trick because the stitches under the binding tend to get a lot of use, and that's got them already secured.
Yeah, and you get all those little frayed bits of thread sticking out and the edges fray, and I don't know when I will get around to binding it, so I thought, oh, that's a smart idea to do. Mm-hmm. So the top is a charm pack from Cotton and Steel. I think it was called Pop. I don't remember I think that was the name of the collection. And then I have like a light baby pink and a bright, what kind of purple would you call this? Not purple, but like...
It's like orchid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They call it witchy, I think is the color name of it. For the star points.
Yeah, it's like a warm
Yeah, I don't know.
red violet, right?
Sure.
Violet red is more to the blue and red violet is
More to the red. Okay, got it.
An orchid thrown in there somewhere is for sure.
And there's little pops of like a seafoamy teal that I used for the backing, just a solid color back.
As an obnoxious person that I am, I'm like, the first thing I was drawn to was the backing color.
I know, I was like, is this too much? Nah, it's for me.
I love it.
It's for me. And then this I quilted on the quilting machine that we have now, the Handy Quilter Sweet 16, but I did rulers with it, which was my first time, which took a lot of practice, so don't look that close.
No, they look great.
Yeah, mostly. But I wanted to
Only
practice.
you see it.
Well, you would if you looked close.
I don't want to. I only want to see the beauty.
Keep moving quickly. We won't notice.
I'll just wave it around a whole lot so you can't see it.
Yeah.
So that just needs binding. And then a quilt that I will speak of in the next segment left me with lots of squares cut out, left over, that I put together into 4 patches and stuck a border on it. And I put the quilt sandwich together today.
Oh, how cute.
But don't say what it is yet. Because,
No.
So these are all leftovers.
That's all I'm saying.
I love this part. Where did you get this?
I will talk about it when we talk about my other quilt that's down there.
I need that fabric.
I will send you the link to it.
All right.
That's
so this is all leftover squares that I threw together the top yesterday because I was like, oh, I have enough to do something. And I put a border on it.
I need that one too. I was looking for something just like this to make Bella something.
Okay, I'll send you the link. And then the backing is this something I had in my stash.
That's cute.
Yeah, I don't know what
camping something.
little camping cute animals. So I don't know what this is going to be
like
for.
a line drawing
baby blanket or
Yeah.
I don't know what. But that is sandwiched and basted and needs to be quilted. So well, I don't know. I might do that at some point. And those are my 4 things that I am working on. I had to check my list.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I am working on, inspired by your finished objects, the Stony Shore cardigan.
Oh, nice.
So
Cute.
I like your color blocking.
this is a yarn from Karin that I think sat on a shipping truck for a long time.
Not for me.
Caron.
Oh.
Right? Is that what you're talking about?
Karin.
Yeah.
Karin.
Not Karin.
I did not say
All
your name.
Karens are about me.
Careful with that, right?
No.
I mean, I would like to
You don't
start
want to
the
be
movement
associated with that.
for it to be Becky, but I think there's some introspective articles about why it's not Becky. But anyways, so it's a Karin, Caron, cake called a lava cake.
Oh, never heard of it.
I think it sat on a shipping truck for a long time because they're over at Michael's. There's like, I don't know, half a dozen colors. And it's a solid color on the outside for a significant portion. And they're big cakes. They're like,
Oh, wow.
I don't think I have a wrapper with me, but they're like 200 something grams.
Wow.
That is a large bowl of yarn.
Maybe, I think it's 470 yards of worsted weight. And then eventually it gets to your self-striping color. So
cute.
mine is called, I think it's called aloe vera.
Okay.
And so it's this really cool teal. And I finished the back, and I was doing something wrong. I compensated by breaking a rule, and that fixed it. But I finished almost all of the back, and the size I'm making it needs 37 rows in the back. Full on bias.
Oh, strange.
I think now that I've like really thought about it, because when I looked at it first, I was like, I'll block that out. It must be something weird. But then when I pulled on it, it didn't really do anything. I was like, oh, okay, be honest. You have made a structural error.
Yeah.
And I was subtracting from one side and adding at the other, and like making a clapotis and knitting.
Yeah.
So I ripped the whole, and I was actually halfway through the fronts too. So I ripped it all back.
No.
And then but that was good because I knew how far one ball of yarn went. And it was actually after I like, you know, when you like get mad at a project for a stupid mistake you've made. And then you can't come back to it for a while.
Yep.
I was already chewing on like what to do with the self-striping because it only made it halfway up the back, and then the yarn was repeating, and then how are you going to do the fronts, because the fronts are smaller, blah blah blah. So it gave me a chance to really figure out how to block the colors. So I have 5 balls of this yarn. They're $5 each.
Nice.
It's an 80-20 blend.
Ooh.
It's a really good deal.
Oh, yeah. It feels nice.
It's really pretty. And even the solid area has a heatheriness to it, which is really cool. All of it.
That could be all my white dog hair worked in, maybe.
That's an awful
We'll call it a
lot of
heather colorway.
Yeah, heather.
So I ripped it all back and redid it. And I compensated by breaking the rule of not skipping the first place on the plain double crochet rows. So,
Say that again?
So, in a plain double crochet row, your turning chain is your first stitch, which it explicitly says in the pattern.
Yeah.
It is your
first stitch. And then you skip that first one.
So I don't think I was going far enough in on the bead rows.
Okay.
I think I was, and that's why. But the most obvious place where it was tilting was in those solid rows. So I decided, well, if this is the side I think that was the side I was subtracting on. So I'm like, if I add here and stop short, I'll be fine.
Right.
And so then I was square.
How do you like that bead stitch?
I love it.
It's fun, huh?
It's super fun.
It is a yarn eater.
It looks so satisfying.
You should try it.
Yeah.
You should just,
I would love
to
it.
just do a little bead stitch when I am on that row. It's super fun.
I have no idea how to do it. You'd have to tell me.
I have a beginning crocheter who's actually not super beginner, but she has a specific project she wants to work on and rebuild her skills to.
Oh, that'd be
And
good.
so we're like doing the basics of beginning, or content of beginning crochet, but then I'm like, well, what do you want to learn?
Yeah.
And she asked me what I was working on. I'm like, oh, I'm working on this cute cardigan that Kaity's teaching. And here's the cool stitch you do and how you do it around the double crochet. So on her own time, she did her homework of her washcloth, and then she found a pattern that she wanted to play with, and it already had that
same stitch.
Not the stitch, but the technique of making a double crochet and then building a cluster on the double crochet. So I was really impressed.
Cool.
The pattern she found was really cute too, but that's for another day.
Tell me about what you're doing with your ribbing. What's going on here?
Feels like a little bit of a hybrid.
Yeah.
Which is all good.
I'm a knitter and a crocheter. And I really don't, if I'm not teaching this,
Yeah,
which
I was
I'm
going
not.
to say, you're not teaching it, so you can do whatever the heck you want.
Whatever the heck I want. I knitted my ribbing.
That's awesome.
I don't like
plus I
making
love this
crocheted
edging.
ribbing. I don't love the way it looks when I know I could just make ribbing.
Yep.
So,
and around the neck you did something else that's really neat.
well, so this, I'm doing things differently. Because again, I'm not teaching this.
Yeah.
Kaity is. So I'm making mistakes that her students are hopefully not making.
No, I haven't had to help anybody with that one, so that's a new one for me.
I figured out I could install the pocket as I did that row, that you leave the hole for the pocket.
Yeah, I didn't do that because I forgot. I assumed it was a patch pocket situation, so I made both the fronts, and then I was like, where's the holes for my pockets?
Yeah. So in the pattern, she has you chain.
Yeah.
And then make the row. I slip stitched across the pocket.
Okay.
Instead of chaining the 18.
Oh, I understand.
And so my pocket is in already, even though it's not sewn down.
Oh, that's cool.
I think in the finishing, you come in and you just sew it to the hole.
Yeah.
I love how she positioned it. It's so pretty that it, the way that the pocket insert sits as though it's a part of the row of the hole you made. It's very pretty.
Yeah. She's a good designer. I really enjoyed her pattern, and I look forward. Yeah. To
Tell me her name again.
Her design blog Instagram is Evelyn and Peter.
I've not absorbed her name yet. Because I'm gonna buy the PDF. But I've been on the
crochet. I don't know what her name is.
Okay.
But yeah, she has lots of really cute patterns.
So Karin was asking me what I did on my edging. So I'm assembling things in a different order because I want to manage the solid color. So in the pattern, you make all the pieces and then you assemble them and then you do the edging. But I did the edging now. I've assembled the shoulder seams and I picked up and knitted my ribbing, and then I did an I-cord bind off.
Nice.
It's so cool.
And this comes from I can't remember her name, her designer name, but she's Funky Grandpa, which is, and I can't remember the name of the other one either, but Funky Grandpa was her big debut break into the seam pattern. And so you do this I-cord bind off, but you start along the edge and you pick up stitches. And so you go around the edge of your ribbing that usually shrinks in, and you fill in the space that it would normally.
That's kind of brilliant, because then it doesn't rise up.
It's beautiful. It's like the only way I will bind off 1x1 ribbing.
La maison, really?
Really.
Yeah. Sure.
So this is going really well, but crochet really hurts my shoulder.
It does me too if I
and I just
do it for a while.
Did too much because I thought, I bet we scheduled this podcast kind of early in the month to record, and I'm like, well, I did both the fronts and kind of in like an evening.
Yeah.
Maybe I could do the sleeves if I like really haul, but my shoulder hurts too much.
Yeah.
So I
with something heavy like that, and you're like really working. Yeah. My arm gets tired.
I have started carrying my. It's not in this bag though.
Huh. What?
I started carrying my Graphica around again.
Oh, we haven't talked about Graphica. Closer. I haven't touched mine.
We went during our book podcast. If y'all listen to that, we talked about what we were knitting. I finished the mitt I was working on, and its mate is in progress.
Nice.
Those are my warm-up mitts pattern. You can get those on Ravelry. A very, very quick project if you're sitting around knitting. And then I have this Simplicity pattern. It is a 90s throwback, but it is a new printing of a pattern. Simplicity 8946, and it's a baby doll dress. Y'all wear baby doll dresses in the 90s?
It's pretty cute.
Yeah. I have this fabric I got at Roxanne's.
Nice.
That is glow bugs or lightning bugs.
Oh, they glow in the dark?
They glow in the dark.
That's
which
really
I had
cute.
no idea.
That's so awesome.
I was looking around, and I like to let the kids choose their own at this point because they're 14 and 11. Like, their tastes are pretty clear. So, and I know Maribel is kind of going away from only pinks and rainbows. So this is fabric with ladybugs, beetles, spiders, lightning bugs, worms, millipedes.
Praying mantises.
Yep. Oh, I love praying mantises.
Yep. So cool.
This is a very Miss Frizzle
Caterpillars,
dress.
yeah. And I was telling, so this pattern has an option to a contrast collar. And I think I have this kind of pink that's in one of the bugs.
Cute.
And I was talking to her about it today. I'm like, do you want me to try a collar on it? And she says, well, I want to try it. And I'm like, ugh. And she's like, you can always take it off if I don't like it. I'm like, yeah, I guess
You're
I
right,
can.
But
all right, fine. So hopefully she'll like the collar and it'll stay on.
The collar's real cute.
I'm gonna do it in a solid like the pattern shows. I don't like the white collar on the sample dress, but it is cute.
Yeah,
it just is a little too much contrast.
Yeah, like maybe if they'd gone with a pink,
or if it had like white trim like around the sleeves, or like if it was pulled in somewhere else, like in a belt or something.
To make it help it make sense.
But it's too much all by itself.
Yeah, it's just sort of like, oh, here's the muslin
an
pattern
afterthought.
piece, and we threw it on. All right, I haven't started this other thing, but I'm like a heartbeat away from starting it.
Okay.
So your beautiful quilts made me want to share.
Ooh, I love Free Spirit fabric.
Yeah, Free Spirit has a lot of beautiful fabrics. So, we started watching Friends, and I thought, what a fun thing to watch with the kids, because it's pretty tasteful. There's a little spicy behavior, but not much. And then they started like fat shaming Monica.
Yeah.
And that comes on so fast.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, nope.
Yeah.
We're not doing this, because that actress has never been fat in her entire little life. It probably is not in her genetic code, or she just works at it. Who knows? None of my business.
And it wasn't that funny when it was on the air either.
Yeah, that of all the jokes that are hilarious in Friends, that's not on the list.
That funny.
And
I feel like that joking did affect her because she's been on the hyper thin after that.
Well, they're not making fun of her in a realistic way. They put her in a fat suit.
Yeah, it's I don't think that's part of. She's a type AAA personality.
Oh,
like I don't follow her on Instagram, but there was a reel going around of her being like, I guess I really am Monica, and she shows her kitchen, and it's like you open the drawer and all the spices are alphabetized and little stair step things and like perfectly,
I'm glazing over with happiness.
She's a type AAA. But in their apartment, which is a delight for the eyes, there is a red and white charm square quilt.
Oh yeah.
So since the 3 episodes we watched a few months ago, I'm like, I want that. I love charm square quilts.
Yeah, like a basic patchwork
charm square.
I love that too.
So, but I wanted to get different shades of red. So, but then I was at Roxanne's and I've been thinking of going super busy because she has every shade of every color. So I was going to get 10 reds, which I wonder if she has 10 reds. It's pretty reasonable. It's a pretty reasonable thing.
I'm sure there's a fat quarter bundle of only reds.
Okay, so, because okay. Organize your thoughts, yeah. So I saw they had baby quilts made up of just a charm pack.
Yeah.
So 42 or whatever, 40 probably charm squares, and just what a cute thing that was. And they had one of K Facet that was all just reds.
Yep.
But red prints. So I found 2 dominantly red print charm packs.
Cute.
And then I found kind of a blood red.
Is that a Kona?
Solid.
I think it's
not.
Cardinal.
It's a Moda.
Oh, is that the Bella
This
Solids?
has a name. Yeah, this has a name. The girl was like, I think this is blah blah red, and then she checked it and she was right.
Oh.
But I don't remember. But it's a very
That's red.
Cardinal is a good way to describe it. It's a warm, rich, dark red, but still very red.
Yeah.
And then I got a solid white. So
Cute.
Monica's quilt is alternating squares of red and white, like a checkerboard. I really can't wait. I wish I hadn't taken so long bumming around the store, because I would have had time on Sunday to come and at least cut them out.
Yeah.
But buying it is part of the working
the project
on it.
has started.
Yeah. Mirabella's dress is actually cut out, so I'm an hour and a half away from that being done. And I'd really like to wear my Stars and Stripes sweater for Memorial Day, because it's made of cotton. So I really just need to do the last stripe and the sleeves, so it's in the realm of reality.
Nice.
That next Monday I could wear it, but we'll see.
Okay.
It's also in the realm of reality that I'll just say, get real, Anne.
4th of July is pretty good too.
Well, that's actually what I've kind of had my eye on as the
goal.
As the goal.
Yeah.
Knowing that I could wear it on other patriotic holidays or flag themed holidays, like Flag Day next year, which Flag Day is after Memorial Day, so maybe Flag Day this year.
I don't even know when Flag Day is.
It's the most neglected holiday.
Yeah.
June 14th.
Oh, you could make it by then.
Yeah,
Totally.
That's very appropriate.
yeah. So that's what I am currently working on.
Nice.
The end. How
Karin?
about you, Karen? It is now your turn.
Well,
Come around.
I told myself I wasn't going to start new stuff because in the effort of straightening up my office, so it's now a working space again, and going through the cubbies to see what I have and make them more reasonable, I rediscovered I have a lot of yarn in there. And I have a lot of projects that I love, but I totally get distracted from. So I picked up some older projects, and working on the back of the Mellow Tunic, which is a Tunisian crochet pullover, V-neck pullover, and it's one of those that has longer ribbing in the back. And the color, I love this color. It's called Aurora Heather, but it's this
So
foresty, heathery green with tones of blue green in there.
It's my
and I love it.
ideal rich forest green.
So I'll show you. I have the
I
front.
was going to say, you already have the front done, right? Because we've talked about it before.
Yep. Although that V must really block a lot bigger than what it shows in the picture.
Cute.
The picture shows it deeper. But I like that you finish this edge as you go, which is kind of neat. So yeah, so the original has that the deep green on the bottom, kind of a camel heather in the middle, and like a lighter tealy heather at the top. And so those are the biggest pieces.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and I can't remember who it was. You said camel, and they were like, shouldn't this say caramel? Like, they were looking at a fabric. And I was like, no, I think it's camel color. And they were like, well, what color is a camel? And I was like, I think it's that color. I could see how it could also be a caramel, but...
Dromedary or back, what do they call it, back?
I don't know.
Backhand or something like that? Or
Sorry,
I know what
Bactrian. I don't know. I'm saying it wrong. I'm so
I don't
sorry.
know.
Well, let's just look up types of camels.
Okay, while you look up types of camels,
Well,
I'm
so
gonna,
I'm glad to know there are as many reds as I imagine. I just want to finish that thought.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm gonna make this red and white quilt for myself, and I love it. But my son's favorite color is red.
I'll send you a picture when I'm at Super
that'd be
Fuzzy tomorrow
lovely.
of all the
That'd be
reds.
lovely. So I can go back to my original
Do
idea.
you know there are 365 colors of Kona?
Wow, that makes me so
one for
happy.
every day
Yes.
of the year.
There's actually technically, I think, a few more than that too now.
But there's at least 300.
there are 365.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Maybe
your
it's like
stream.
31 flavors. There's really more than 31 flavors, but they have certain ones that they'll feature more in throughout the year.
Maybe.
So.
I feel like I saw somebody on Instagram making. I don't know if this is what it was. It just came to me. Like a year in solids quilt, and so maybe it was like every day was a different color. I'm making that up, but
I love
that
that
could be
idea,
a thing.
though. What an interesting idea.
yeah.
Dromedary and Bactrian. I think you said it
Bactrian.
right.
I was
Yeah.
okay, but
I think
it
you
just
said it right.
felt weird coming out of my
So
mouth.
dromedary is 1 hump. Bactrian is 2 humps.
You learn
Yep,
something new every day.
yep. I know.
Oh, there's a third type.
There is. Tell me
3
now.
humps?
Oh, wild Bactrian and critically endangered, but I think it's still a 2 hump.
Okay. So I'm going to do a sample knit for a pattern out of Lady Dye yarns, and they told
Love
me,
it.
"Can you get this done in 4 weeks?" I'm like, "Sure, sis. I got the yarn, and it's been 3 weeks." And cricket, and but in the meantime, I didn't want to wait. It's a pattern called Charlize. It's a crochet, not a crochet. That's why it's got on knitting needles.
Oh,
Sorry.
I talked about this in our book
I
club,
talked
right?
about this in the book club, but I'm talking about it here.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't hear about it, the book club. And it's lace on the top. It's a 1 skein thing, and I am working on it. I'm just making a second copy ahead of time for myself.
I think it's one of those patterns that like you should probably teach. That it would be like a good one for people to have in their
See?
pocket.
And that's why I'm doing my own sample,
Yep,
just in case I
smart.
don't get to keep hers.
I was sorry to interrupt, but I was talking to a customer today, and she was saying how she looked up that shawl pattern and she really liked it, and then she noticed that the designer had another shawl she didn't like quite as much, but she needs to make it because the name of the pattern is Xenia, and she was like, "So I should probably make that one." And I was like, "Yeah, you probably should."
Make them both.
I'll make Charlize first.
Change your name, Xenia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really loving this. It's like a 4-row lace repeat, and the wrong side rows you do a little something in the front, but it's pretty much purl across most of the back.
Nice.
And again, I love this yarn. I want to buy this yarn in multiple bases. You know when you get a color that resonates.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I'm not really a yellow person, but this is like warm melted butter on popcorn.
Yeah.
Yellow and white is my favorite color combination.
Yeah, but don't you just love? It's got these little tiny brushes of like a brown.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Well, the lace, because that's how lace is when it's bunched up on your nails, looks like a bowl of popcorn. So
Yes,
that's
very
torture.
popcorn.
It does.
Torture.
Maybe that's why I think of popcorn when I see it. This is gonna be my popcorn shawl. Even my popcorn Charlize by Vanessa. What did I call her before? Vanessa Smith.
There you go.
So those are the 2 things on needles now. I do have something that goes into the next segment that I will talk about in the next segment, but I lied. I did cast on something, but I got it done in a day and a half, so there you go.
Nice.
Well, it's funny that you say that about the trying not to start anything new. It's funny when we're on the same wavelength because I went through start, finish nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And then this month I haven't been feeling very productive, but I made myself a promise of like, nope, nothing new.
Well, I always see these.
Catch up.
I always see these. I'm on the no new quilt diet right now because when I laid out everything that all the tops I've started and they're in process, and the one that's been cut out for a year that I can't even start till I get some of these others done, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that, and I went through my sewing garment projects, and I'm like, I got this great fabric and I haven't done anything with it yet. So I'm going to enjoy what I've got for a while because I have this now that I know where things out. I feel a little more comfortable with, okay, I've got these other things, and I think I'm going to put it in my planner.
Nice.
To give myself a carrot of anticipation. You know, I've heard of other people that they get so caught up with one thing or another, and they forget, and they kind of get overwhelmed by stuff. But if they just scheduled, like, this is my 30-minute break time to cut fabric, or to, you know, sew a little bit. Mm-hmm. I know one gal who did 10 to 15 minutes every morning for a month. And it's amazing what she got done with just 10 to 14 minutes of sewing. Like, she had her coffee, her breakfast, she did a little sewing, and it just sort of energized her to then get other stuff done, because she got that mental jump start of creativity first. So,
yes, and I feel like sometimes also it's about reminding yourself what you loved about the project when you were so excited to start it at the beginning, and then you find the other, you know, the next little carrot on a string, and you're like, oh, look at that exciting thing. I'm going to run after that thing instead. But at some point you were in love with that other thing, so it's like, you know.
Before it got buried by all the other things.
Right, and then sometimes all it takes is just picking it up to be like, oh yeah, I really am excited about this thing.
See,
or sometimes you pick it up and you're like, I don't care about this thing.
Well, that's how I feel about this mellow tunic. I'm like, oh, I forgot. I kind of got bogged down with like 5 inches of the ribbing.
Uh-huh.
And even though it's in Tunisian crochet, it's still 1/1 ribbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of got bogged down, and then I'm like, oh no, I gotta do this other color. And by the time I get to it, a lot of times it's in the evening, the lighting's not as good.
Right.
And I can't tell you how many times I've split this dark green because I want to, you know. But there's one other thing. Oh.
God, you're going to be Superwoman soon. I was just thinking about lighting, because I finally got myself a knot light for where I sit. And then my husband started stealing it. And I was like, all right, well,
That's
we're going to go get you the same knot light, and you can stop that. He was so happy. He was like skipping out of the store.
Are they worth it?
Yes.
I have 2 of them, and yes, they are.
Do you use, like, can you use it like on the side of the couch, going over your, is it,
so
what is your favorite setup for an outline? Because
I have a
multiples.
tabletop one that flips open, and that one's good for if you're like sitting, you know, and you have it next to you. But I also have a floor lamp that I love to bits, and I moved it home because we needed better lighting at the quilting machine, and it's perfect for right there. And I didn't think I would miss it in my office, but I do, so I'm like, well, now I need another one.
Yeah, I've been buying the 2 that I've bought, and I carefully, like, kind of price compared all over, because, you know, when you're shopping at craft stores, it gets so, like, inflated. And I'll see if I can find the one that I've bought. But yes, I realized I could not do cross stitch at nighttime.
Oh yeah.
And so,
lots of light.
but then I can do it in the daytime if I just have full light or in here.
Yeah.
So, okay, lighting's the problem. So, but I ironically have not been cross stitching since I bought it. But then I just want it on, because as soon as my like brain, like, I don't know if it's some little like reward system with the optic nerve, as soon as I turn it on, it's like, oh, my eyes are no longer strained. This is what we want all the time. It's like when you start drinking enough water and you could never not stay that hydrated, right?
Yeah.
So this is the OttLight 2-in-1 LED magnifier floor and table lamp. So if I wanted to, I can take it out of the tall part of the stand and put it into the base and put it on a table, but I don't have coffee tables on where I sit. So I needed a floor lamp.
I have a side table, but
if you
it's
have a side table, you have more options with OttLights. But what I like about the standing ones, at least this one is bendable. I don't know.
Yeah,
if it's
mine
always...
has like a gooseneck.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not
so...
super bendy, but you can adjust.
But you can like bring it down to your work, and that way, like, you can look over it. Like if we're while watching TV, I can look over it, and for whatever reason, it's not bothering me to look into the darker area. Yeah. And then back down at the highly illuminated area. And they're just LEDs, so I'm not even going to have to deal with all the OttLight issues of the expensive bulbs.
Oh, gotcha.
So that was very enticing to me. And I think I bought mine for like $75, because I like worked...
And that's the floor. That's the one that has the option that could be the floor stand or the... See, I would like that because I don't want to only be able to do it in the one spot that has the side table.
I got it for $80.74 with tax. Because I worked their system. Like it was on sale, or there were double coupons. This was Joann's.
Oh, okay.
And that was better than buying it at Michael's, better than buying it online. But there was something, like, I worked it so that if it was like your pickup curbside coupon plus it being on sale already or something like that. So if you just kind of watch it.
Okay. Plan for it.
But I was thinking about how you're going to be a super powered because you're going to have your eyes surgery.
That still freaks me out.
No,
I mean, the
because
idea
I think
of
part of-
someone coming near my, it's not a laser in my eye,
No.
but still, it's not even the surgery. It's your eyes are like clamped open. How do you not see them and recognize something's coming at you? And you can't flinch. It seems like every horror movie I've ever seen.
Well, my
You would
mom,
just think about everything all the good it's
you
going to
have,
do
I
for
mean, you
you.
have a screen over your
I don't-
ability to
I don't have a
receive
choice
light beams.
because my eyes are getting worse and worse, and I get this. I notice that I get vertigo if my eyes are so focused at the craft in my hands, and then I look up and I cannot focus whether I'm here with who has great lighting or watching TV at home.
Well,
My eyes are not adjusting too quickly, but fortunately that and the astigmatism that I've had since I was a kid. The first optometrist I ever went to, I always laughed because his name was Dr. Fogg with 2 G's, but I thought that was
still.
okay. Before I forget, I just want to. I have been working on.
It's going to be its own thing, isn't it?
No, is
I
it
haven't touched
something?
mine.
Okay, I'll save it for the segment.
Well, I
that
think
it's
we're
its
next.
own-
We'll make it the next segment.
Yeah, so
You're
what,
done sharing.
let's
There
do
you
a
go.
graphic check-in.
Yeah,
A graphic
because
check-in.
it's a what you're working on, but it's its own thing.
Yes.
Yes. So
What the heck, gangbusters!
look at this. I was able to take the sleeves off.
It looks great.
And of course, I couldn't wait because I was at home and I didn't have one of those tubey things at home. So instead, I have them on the
What a
extra
pretty
cords.
stopper!
I know these are from the Knitter's Pride Mindful Collection.
Cute.
So if you
And,
buy those cables, you get those stoppers.
yeah,
All
the
right.
stoppers are. I really like the stoppers. They're kind of like little rounded mushrooms. You know, they look a little teal mushrooms with silver mandalas on the ends. But I'm almost done with the first chart after you take them off. I know we
Nice.
have that great big space, and I know what you're saying about like you didn't want quite that big a space. And part of me is like, I wish now that I had just thrown a blip of something in the
What
middle.
if you
like a little dash
duplicate
or something.
stitch something into it later?
I might, but then it's just making sure that I keep the tension. But I could do that.
I hate duplicate stitch, so I'm a monster for suggesting it. But
I don't mind it. I feel like it's like cross stitch on my knitting.
it just never turns out the way I want it to. It's one of those nemesis.
Yeah, there's some things that I had that way, but I did do the short rows
Oh, nice.
or like up here, like
Excellent.
when did I do it? I did it not this section, but like after towards the end of the yoke, but before the last chart before the end, if that makes sense. Blah blah.
Yeah, you're gonna benefit from that.
The thing I changed up though is because even though we start in the center back, I wanted to. I didn't want to. I kind of figured out where my sleeves are going to be before I did the short rows, and I put markers there. That way, I could just go back and forth, and then a little bit less from one shoulder to the other shoulder, back, center back. But then when I went to take it off of the, although my marker's still center back, so I don't know, maybe, I don't know what is, I did keep my center back marker in place so I wouldn't have to lose that later, but I did do the short rows back and forth from the shoulders, from the back armhole
The
edge.
colors look so good together.
They're really showing up. You see more green. This is, I've towards the end of my second of the gray and the second of my my orangey pinky color.
Cool.
So I'm already thinking, how many boxes of color catcher am I gonna put with this so that it doesn't dull out and bleed
What
itself?
if you actually like laid it in a tray and put color catchers on top of it?
I think that is
And
exactly
then like
poured the water on top. Okay.
Yeah.
So I did a blocking for a customer who had this really pretty cream with pop as her main color, but it was for the, what was the class? It was the class
bean and olive.
Bean and olive, yeah. But for the hearts, she had this really bright red and pinky red, and I'm like, oh, that's going to be bad if that goes bad. So what I did was I wrapped the color catchers around the pink areas, around each wrist and around the yolk. I kind of rolled up the yolk and put the color catchers around it, and then when I put it in the water, they were the pink areas were sort of separated from the rest of it by the color catchers. And it came out great.
There you go.
I just didn't want to risk it.
Did any dye come off though?
Nope. Not even on the color. It didn't come off
That's what
on
I
the
meant
catcher.
on the color catcher.
It didn't come off on the color catcher, but I didn't want to risk it.
No,
it was,
no.
We've seen it go wrong with that brand of yarn.
It would have been a very cute pink sweater, but it's not what she wanted it to be. But
no. It would have obviously looked like it bled, and I just didn't want that for her. So, hopefully she liked it.
Nice.
I'll ask her when I see her next. So, so there's my graphica. I'm working on the body now.
Nice.
Which I'm super happy with. I just do a little bit every night. It's just when I go to sit down, or if I'm watching TV with my mom-in-law, I bring 2 projects, and one of them's graphica, and I'll do that for a little bit until it's time for them to have coffee and tea, and for me to play on my phone for a little bit while I'm waiting, and then I get on to another project.
Nice. I haven't touched my graphica since last time we spoke. It's been in my office since then. So
I put it in my knitting.
It looks the same.
But you were farther than us, so.
Yeah, but you've probably passed me by this point.
I think so, yeah.
I think I had divided my sleeves and was like a row past that, so.
Well, just you all wait until the next time we podcast.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, no, it's really pretty though, Karin.
What did I do here?
Yeah, so mine is, I'm done with the main yoke charts. And I have like 10 inches to go.
Yeah, it feels like forever until you get to the sleeves.
Yeah. I really have like
really
5
did.
inches to go, which is still
It's still a lot.
and I'm just very trepidatious about embarking on that
The
much.
closer I got to being able to separate it, the more motivated I was to just do it.
Yeah.
I understand.
And now that I'm on the body, it's a little bit anticlimactic because I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm glad it's not as many things, but maybe when I get to the next chart.
Yeah, the charts make it move fast.
Top-down sweaters like that are always like that, where it's like, I cannot wait to divide the sleeves. I can't wait to get there, and then I get there, I'm like, oh, this is boring now.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be, but this one's supposed to be fun because there's action.
Yes.
There is action.
Yes.
There's a lot going on. That is absolutely the fact. So.
Got it.
What do you finish, Katie?
I finished a baby quilt for a friend who just had their second baby. So I picked up a charm pack at Super Buzzy and some white Kona, and I made half square triangles, and then I laid them out in a pleasing array that I liked. And then my quilting.
Oh, that's so fun.
You made all the stars?
So it's a navy blue back,
That is fabulous.
and then I did like a little meandering wiggle and every once in a while I would stop and do like a little 5-point star. And it was super fun to do.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
Man,
And
you're
this
getting
was,
good.
This was like a 2 or 3 day project. It was real fast. Because it's just a little baby blankie, so.
But I like how you did diamonds sometimes and squares
Yeah,
sometimes.
so it doesn't read as well as the solid if you Google like half square triangle quilt layouts on Pinterest, you'll find like 500 examples. And it's basically like, well, now I can't see it unless I stand far away. There's like a big triangle kind of at the top that comes in like this, and then
like
there's
a
another one
diamond
at the
shape.
bottom.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. They kind of overlap each other.
Yeah. And then you get like solid squares, and it was fun.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So I finished that, and then the thing I have been working on mostly this month is a gift for James, because it is our 10-year anniversary on June 2nd. Thank you. So, and he was like, you know what I want you to make me is a reptile quilt. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, oh, sorry. I just hit the blinds. I want every sort of type of reptile represented. I want lizards. I want turtles. I want tortoises. I want snakes. I want alligators. I want So I was like, give me a list so I don't miss any, please. And then I I've been working on this for like 2 months. Spent a lot of time on the internet and in going to various local quilt stores looking for reptile fabric. I found a shop on Etsy. I will look up the name of, because they were like, they came in clutch for helping me find reptile fabric, because I looked and looked, and I was able to order 7 different prints from their Etsy shop of alligators, all the things. And let me tell you, if you want fabric with snakes on it, you are out of luck, because there is one. Fabric Utopia is who I bought the prints from.
That's what I need, though. I need snake fabric.
So I could find one, unless I wanted to order from Spoonflower, which I didn't want to do.
No, I don't.
And it was going to take way too long.
It's mostly the time, because I think the quality is really up.
Yeah, and I was open to it, but
It's
it
just
was just going to take way too long to get. So I have been Googling and searching every place I went to. I was like, do you have snake fabric? The only one I could find is an Alexander Henry print called Monkey Business.
Oh, yeah.
Snake Rattle and Roll is the print that I found. It's the only thing I could find with snakes on it, and I was like, well, this is going to have to be good enough. So there are 7 different prints. There's 2 different alligators, 2 different lizards, 2 different turtles, 1 snake. And so I used a Creative Grids ruler called Square on Square to make economy blocks. And I wasn't going to buy the ruler because I was like, well, you just, cut it in half and put your triangles on. But I'm so glad I bought the ruler. It made my life so much easier. So there are 23 different Kona solids and 7 different prints. So I'll stand up so you can see.
Wow.
It is 64
it's awesome.
by 64.
Oh, I love all the turtle fabrics. Those are great.
So I did some fussy cutting because some of the prints ended up bigger than I expected, like those turtles. So I had to kind of make sure I got faces in some of them. And this is my favorite snake.
I love it.
It's like he's laughing at you. And look at that.
And the back. This is the backing.
I need that fabric
fantastic.
This was called like All the Reptiles or something.
And it is all the reptiles.
And there is a snake on here. So I got at least one more snake.
There's a bearded lizard.
There's a bearded dragon. There's iguanas. There's a toad. He's technically not a reptile. He's an amphibian. Yeah. But James said it was okay.
Okay.
He said it's okay. There's also like dragonflies and stuff.
Look at the gecko.
Cool. There's like a little tree frog. This big alligator crocodile. I don't know which is which. Alligator crocodile. So I bought that fabric from Birtles, Birtles Fandom, Birtles Fandom Fabrics on Etsy. She has any sort of pop culture print you could want, and I was able to buy 4 yards worth of this reptile fabric for the backing. So it took me a lot of
research.
A lot of research and a lot of strategic...
A lot of planning for the colors, yeah.
Well, I didn't really plan... So what I did was I bought a fat quarter bundle from Super Buzzy of like green, brown, blue. I was like, these are very James colors. He's going to love it. And then I was doing some mindless task. I think I was folding fat quarters. And I was doing math in my head and I realized I bought about half as much fabric as I actually needed. So then I had to supplement, and that's where like the oranges and there's like a reddish color came in, some brighter colors.
It looks very balanced.
Yeah, see, that really is good.
Yeah. It worked out great.
Oh my god, pizza slice fabric. I love it.
Yeah, they had a ton of different things.
Birtle, Birtles.
Birtles Fandom Fabrics, I think was her Etsy shop. But I also worked on it in secret because I didn't want James to know I was making this. So I asked him, I was like, what do you want for your reptile quilt? He wants all these different animals. He wants it big so he can sit in his chair and it covers his feet. And he wanted it... I had been putting like fleece on the back of a lot of quilts, and he said he didn't want fleece. He wanted cotton. And I was like, okay, good to know. And then I stopped asking him questions because I didn't want him to think I was working on it.
Yeah.
And then I gave it to him last week. Technically it's before our anniversary, but we already kind of celebrated, and he loves it. So I told him today, I was like, I'm stealing your quilt when I go to work so I can talk about it on the podcast, but I'll bring it home. But I had to work on it in secret, so it was like 10 minutes here, or I got home and he's not going to be home, and it seemed like it was like crunch time because I was like, I really need to get this done because our anniversary, in my mind it was like, oh, I have plenty of time, until it was like 2 weeks out, and I was like, oh crap, I haven't even cut out my fabric yet. And it seemed to be a week when he didn't want to go anywhere. He was like, "Oh, I was thinking about going to play D&D, but I think I'm going to stay home this Friday night." And I was like, "Are you sure you don't want to go?"
Terrible idea.
Like, you should go somewhere, go to a movie. But I did get it done, so, and I am very happy with it. So I finished that quilt. I finished a baby quilt. I made a couple of mosaic baskets I talked about these when we were doing our book club for class samples. So there's my small and my medium, and I put the plastic canvas in them today.
It came out great.
Yeah, they're cute.
They're adorable.
And I have the large one in progress, but I didn't talk about it for what we're working on because it'll be done in a day or so. And that is with the Bernat Maker Home Decor, I think is the name of that yarn, which is one of my favorites. And then the little pink, orangey, yellow, sparkly handspun that I found in my stash. So I'm making a set of 3 of those. And then I have this pair of jeans. It's my favorite pair of jeans. I got them from Target. And they were like on the clearance rack. And then I did some tailoring to like bring in the sides, make them fit better. And they were like perfect. I love these jeans. They're my favorite pants. But they had pre-ripped holes in them, which I was fine with, except that they just end up getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And I tried to do like iron-on patches to like fix it, and that held for a little while. So I started doing sashiko mending on them, and I backed them with like an old piece of denim, and I was stitching them on, but it was not fun because you're like stitching through layers of denim, and it was hard to do, and it was just not as, it didn't go as quickly as I expected or wanted that project to go. So there were 3 holes that I was like 3 big holes that I was mending. I got 2 of them done, and then I was like, I'll do that third one, the biggest one. And it sat and sat and sat for about 4 months in this, like, on my desk. I'm like, it's right there. And I really wish I could wear those pants, but I need to finish mending them. So I finished mending them, so I'm wearing them today.
They're adorable.
So these are my sashiko
the sashikos look fabulous.
mended pants. I used a yellow, like, gold sashiko thread.
Which kind of fits with the yellow denim.
So,
right? The classic yellow
the
thread on denim.
Oh, yeah. But now they're mended and I can wear them in, which made me happy. So I am counting that as a finished project.
Absolutely.
And then the last thing I'm counting as a finished project is my newly cleaned office.
Yeah, it looks great in
Thank
there.
you. I spent a day buckling down because Karin, I had been thinking I need to do it. And then Karin told me about how she's cleaning her office, and I was like, okay, fine, I will do it.
It's a multi-day process.
Yeah, mine took me the better part of a Tuesday morning and then the better part of a Thursday morning. And I still have a pile of fabric that needs to be sorted into, like, I have bins of, like, various size scraps. I'm, like, half yards.
Mine's like 90%.
True scraps.
Yeah.
I need to work on that pile. But, you know, the rest of it is done, and I'm counting it as clean. So, I'm checking it off my list.
Oh, my God.
Are you browsing fabric?
It's realistic goats.
Oh, that's cute.
I love it.
Look, if you made it into a mat, it'd be a goat yoga mat.
Okay, wait, no, that's how you do it. 1 yard, but how many increments of 1 yard?
Yeah, so I had to order 4 1 yards to get 4 yards worth of the back, and she was like, it'll come in a continuous piece. And I was like, if I get 4 separate pieces, I'm going to be mad. I mean, I could put it together, but I don't want to.
Add to cart.
Those are the things that I have finished.
Those are impressive.
Thank you.
You're better women than I. My office will continue
to be
the way it is.
I was just productive this month. And some months I am not productive at all.
About your office. Congratulations.
Oh, that's okay.
I have finished, I think, 2 things. Mirabella, I've been sitting on this story for a week. Mirabella has participated in an all-district choir this year. She had a great time. I was glad she got to do some kind of extracurricular, and she's only a 5th grader. In the winter concert, she asked for 2 dresses because there was a night performance and a matinee the next day. So one, she wanted like a very fancy dress, and I bought this sequined fabric that I just like blew all of my 30 years of sewing experience out the window and completely underestimated the amount of care and concern that kind of fabric needs. Like, you have to de-bead it along every seam allowance, and I just didn't do that. I was like, I'll just serge this. Nope. So that just didn't happen. And we ran and bought her a dress like the night before. And I was like, and I'm not making the Santa dress. I just don't have it in me. I've been destroyed by this other dress. And there was like another problem too, that the pattern she wanted, it was a new look pattern. I pulled it out to cut the pieces out, and it was an old discontinued pattern with the same number for like a summer top. Not the dress.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It was the wrong pattern.
Yeah, they put the wrong new look, put the wrong pattern
Oh.
inside the envelope.
Oh.
So then I went back to Joann's just for the principle of it, and I checked, and they were all that way.
Oh.
Whoa.
And I showed it to one of the girls who's kind of nice, and she's like, "Yeah, I heard they had to close some of their processing plants." I'm like, "What does that
So why
matter about
you
this?"
should be selling this?
Well, I mean, it's not her fault.
And I'm
New
sure they
Look
don't
did it.
check every single one.
But I'm like, all of those are wrong. So if you need to pull them and damage them out or something, the pattern is back. I don't know what the number is. It's again, 90s are back. It's an unpair waisted, long or short sleeve puffy thing. So Mirabella has been wanting to make sure that I did the spring dress right, and that I didn't have any fails, I guess.
Yeah.
So she's been checking in all the way through, and it was a Disney themed concert. So we agreed that we would kind of do that. She wanted to be like Minnie Mouse themed.
Cute.
So I bought some red background, white polka dots. And I made the baby doll dress that I was talking about earlier. That's Simplicity, whatever.
With the collar.
Yeah, 389, nope. 8946. I was trying to read the flap upside down. Anyways, I made the dress last Tuesday. We had been thinking about meeting, and that didn't come through, but I still needed the time. So I enjoyed the empty studio and whipped out this dress in like 2.5 hours from cut to sewn.
Nice.
That's awesome.
It's Tuesday. The concert is on Thursday. I am feeling very good about this. It's like I have finished it a year in advance practically.
We have this gorgeous extra wide sateen at Super Buzzy, and there's like a teal, a black, and a white, and it's like shiny with like sun and moon and stars. It's gorgeous. And I was talking to my coworker, whose name is also Kaity, and she was saying that she wants to make a dress out of it for some sort of event that she's going to. She's like, but I only have a few weeks. And I was like, oh, girl, you got plenty of time to make a dress.
Just be conscientious about the pattern. I mean, this is a simple pattern. It's a front piece, 2 darts in the front, which are delightful because instead of having to pin them, they're the kind of darts where they've cut out the excess already. So you just have to bring it together. Oh, so dreamy.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of pattern she was doing, but I was like,
gathered skirt,
you can
easy
do it.
zipper. I had bought a white lace lace zipper from Joann's to make another one of your bags for her, but it's huge. It was a 22-inch zipper.
I didn't know they had those.
And they only have 7-inch and 22-inch, and they're not as nice as the ones at Super Buzzy.
Okay.
I went to like it shifted on me, and I needed to cut it or stitch rip it, and the lace started to shred.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, so don't worry about Joann's having them. Go to Super Buzzy for your lace zippers. But it happened to be because it was so extraordinarily long, it happened to be the right length for the dress. So I applied it to the dress. I don't have a picture of her wearing it because the concert was canceled.
Oh,
how pretty!
Dun, dun, dun.
So Minnie Mouse.
That is the end of the story.
Real cute though.
So
She's got an awesome Minnie Mouse dress.
Yeah, I showed Kaity and Karin this cute little dress, and I borrowed the sleeves from the pattern that was not made in December because I bought it with the correct insides recently, and it's the poofy sleeve. So I brought it home to put the elastic in, and then she wanted to wear it before, because she did wear it to school the next day.
Oh, it's supposed to have elastic around the edge of the sleeve.
So it's like Minnie has a poofy sleeve like that. Minnie also has a white collar.
Yes.
But it just felt like too much. Like instead of bounding, it was like, now you're in a costume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So,
instead of inspired by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the lace zipper turned out pretty cute on it.
Oh, that's very sweet.
And then I grabbed these Mickey and Minnie head buttons, and we're going to put those on there somewhere.
Yeah.
We just haven't decided where.
Cute.
Or not. Maybe they'll just be in my stash.
Like 3 in like a faux placket or something.
Yeah. And that might be it. So it looks so cute on her. I'm making another out of those buggies.
Nice.
And I was really looking for snakes when I was looking
Well,
for.
good luck.
So
You can have that one Alexander Henry print.
I will be looking. She'll love that. That'll be adorable. I also am in a beading mood, so I am playing with doing beaded earrings. I want to be conscientious because fringed earrings are more of a Native American style, but that is the style I want to make. So that is what I'm doing. And I don't have a picture of the finished earrings, but I'll tell you about them because I can show you the colors. I wanted my daughter to take the picture of the back of my new bun style I was trying, which looked like a hot mess, if anyone cares. Instead, she took like a bunch of selfies of herself, which is what my husband does. If you hand him your phone. So I did like this teal, a navy.
Oh, those are pretty. I like that combination.
And a
Ooh, cute.
clear purple, using the turquoise color as like the main color of the fringe. I'll text Katie a picture of it so that the listeners can see instead
I'll
of you
post
guys.
pictures of it when I get one.
But that's really fun. I just get in that mood sometimes. I want to make something fussy and little that's just a little lap project that can be done in the evening. And then I'm satisfied.
Nice.
So I finished earrings and a dress.
That sounds good to me.
And that is the end of my story.
Karin?
I only finished 2 things. I finished a washcloth that I started and finished.
Oh, I love its little hangy.
Yeah, you know what? It's a one skein thing, but you were playing yarn chicken all the way to
inch.
the end. Okay. So when I make the next one, I'm going to cast on, and then I'm going to do my I-cord right away.
Yeah.
And then when I come back to turn to go back the other way, that'll make it loop, and then I can just go until I need to bind off.
Nice.
But this is that really cool yarn called Home Life by Pearl Soho, and it came in a bundle because it was a little less expensive. I really, really want a sweater made of this stuff, but I don't want to spend $200 on the cotton yarn.
It's
for
really
it.
cool.
I feel like it's gonna hold its shape, but I don't know. I haven't made this, but yeah. So it's basically, you've got your cotton thread, and here's one that's wound, and it's got all these little short strings tied on,
Like tiny little tassel skirts around the yarn.
all the way. Yeah.
What was the name of the yarn?
Home Life,
Home Life.
I think they must make it the way you were thinking.
where they
Like-
tie it and
Like it's probably even like a woven process.
and then you
and then they
cut
slice
the
it.
slices.
Yep.
It's very interesting.
It's very interesting.
Cool.
And I got, because I can never get just like one bundle. I've got this bundle with neutrals, and then I have a bundle with pinks that are really, really pretty. See this kind of warm terracotta-y, salmon-y color. That's this color I want for a sweater. And I'm not a pink sweater gal, but,
Yeah, but that color's very pretty
that
for
color
you.
would look good on me.
Nice.
Even the beige, it's more like a warm peachy beige, is kind of neat compared to the other beiges.
Huge.
And then I've got the greens. So it was between these greens, and I really like this minty.
Mm-hmm. Very pretty.
Okay, so that was that project. And this is I don't have a mental capacity for anything, but my hands need to be busy. So I'm going to make a washcloth
Love that.
Nice.
kind of thing.
You always need one of those projects.
Yeah, I want to, of course, I'm going to keep this one for myself. I'm going to test it to see how it is. It's more like a facial type of washcloth, not, but
Body scrubbing.
yeah, but it definitely has that terry cloth feel.
Yeah.
A fresh terry cloth.
Or like
and
a
yet,
spa washcloth
like
rather than like a cleaning home washcloth.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Very
For
pretty.
your body, not for your. And then the other is, it still needs to be blocked, but I finished my Luna Fade, the DK weight.
Very pretty.
Pretty.
It's also Tunisian crochet. I'm never crazy about the shawls that are really rounded, but at the
I
top,
know,
how they have that lip. I mean, she does. You'll appreciate.
So is it a crescent where the brown's going to be at the top?
Yes.
Oh, you're going to block the snot out of that.
Yeah.
Which you'll appreciate. She says block it aggressively.
Yeah, you have to.
That's the only
crescent
way to
turn.
make the crescent
Yeah.
turn, because
But I
it
don't know
looks-
why designers still do that, because it never is perfectly
you
round
still.
at the top. You still
because-
get that weird little nub.
Honestly, you could start wider with more stitches to be like from shoulder to shoulder and add from there. Yeah. And then you don't get that nub.
Yeah.
It's when you start with only like the center back neck portion.
See, I feel of a different opinion. I think starting with a smaller tab is more effective. But
I feel like you could block it the opposite way and make a shallow triangle just as easily.
So every row I'm increasing 4 stitches. It's a double increase at both edges, which you would think, I mean,
would curl around.
Yeah. Now it feels really dense right now, but I know when I wet it, it's going to really stretch out, and I will be able to stretch it out. And it's really pretty. Cool. It almost has like an I-cord looking edge. Partway through, I realized I was doing it wrong. And I'm like, okay, I'll just fix that right here and keep on going. And I originally started with this pink. So this is yarn from Treehouse Knits, from the Cocoa collection. And I think we talked about this before. The dark one is Dante.
Yes.
The pinky beigey speckly one is Everlasting. And I really, really, really love this lace in Tunisian.
It's a perfect fade. Like, it looks like you were holding one strand of one and one strand of the other, which you're not, right?
Well, there is 2 fade sections.
Oh, okay.
But
still,
but you're like alternating like rows. You're not like holding the 2 together.
Yeah, this is it by itself, and then there's a narrow section. And it used every bit of Everlasting. In fact, I ran out before I was finished. But I just did the last little bit out of Coco's Boast, which I have some left over.
Yeah.
Because I figure it's fading into it anyway. Yeah. So I move a little sooner than the other.
Cute.
Yeah.
But it does need blocking, and I will be happy to. And now that I have a place to block it.
Yeah, that's exciting.
That's the thing. It's like I don't have any place at home I can block it. I needed to make space. But this is gonna be a class sample, and I am a big fan of this lace. I could do a whole sweater of just this this Tunisian lace.
Cute.
It's really simple. It's the Tunisian lace version of yarn over knit 2 together, over knit 2 together,
I like
kind of
better,
thing.
Actually,
cool.
So those were the 2 things I finished.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like that. Well, anybody have anything that they're real excited about, obsessed with this month?
I'm super obsessed with several things.
Okay,
tell us. All one category. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm getting excited about beading again. And so particularly stitched beading techniques.
Okay.
So, there's a ton on Pinterest, which I kind of have not done a lot of Pinterest in the last few years, but it is always it's always a good resource to go back for.
I sort of forget about it. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of good stuff on here.
Yeah. It's frustrating, like all social media outlets, that to monetize, it just sort of becomes a dumping spot for ads too. And that takes away from the original immersion feeling, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. So these are all Instagram accounts. First is Miss Antone's bead work. It's a long name. Mm-hmm. So the first 3 are Indigenous artists, and they are so talented making beaded pieces with such like drama. Mm-hmm. I really like, she's so smart about how she runs her business, honestly. She opens spots for you to contract her for custom work.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that.
She also does a lot of reels with music.
I had that on 0, so I don't know. Sometimes my phone just does weird things, and I swear I didn't touch it.
It's the Google overlords. Here's some fringe, high drama fringe earrings that fun. She did around a hoop. And there's a picture of like how far down they go. These are the large.
Wow, those are real fun.
Large. I think she decided to keep the extra large.
See, I have never had the neck to wear long ones.
I adore her, but she doesn't have a long neck either.
No, she doesn't. So but they look fabulous.
Pull the Kaity mantra, which is wear what makes you happy.
Yeah,
or something along those lines.
Yeah, who cares?
And she's got great color sense and just really, really fun designs.
Nice.
And The next one that I'm super excited about, she kind of caught my eye because this is something I was oh, my phone died.
Oh. Oh no.
Can we pause?
Yeah.
Okay. So after Miss Antone's beadwork, the next one that got me excited was atsmaya.beads. She is another indigenous artist. She does, this is some of her Christmas stuff, but she does all kinds of things.
Oh, cute.
Oh, look at the Christmas
These are
snowflakes.
like a reel of Grinch, Snoopy, Holly, and snowflakes. And then she has a link to her Etsy shop, and you're gonna die when you see these. I mean, I want to die when I see these. They are the cutest beaded earrings, and I'm going to buy them after my next paycheck. She did like a stitched triangle to start, and instead of hang down fringe,
Cute.
so the stitched top is a blue sky with clouds, and then she connected so it looks like an upside down rainbow dripping out of the clouds.
How do you
That's
spell
awesome.
her name?
AZTMAYA
Oh, okay.
dot beads, and her Etsy is the same but without the dot.
Okay.
And I love that these people are charging the right price.
Yeah.
It's not overly expensive, but it's worth every penny they're charging.
I'll post like screenshot shares of the Instagram account so you can see them if anybody wants to also find them.
Beaded Island Creations, beaded.island. Beaded.island.creations. She is doing like the conventional fringed earring shape, but she makes them as Disney
little
characters.
people?
So that's Mulan.
Oh, that's so
She
cool.
has a set that's Ursula.
But they still like move, or are they anchored at the bottom? Oh,
No, it's so that's Snow White. So like you get it's like a half of a Snow White.
Oh.
So in each ear, it still reads a Snow White, but when it's
Cute.
next to, look at the Ursulas.
That's really fun.
I love it.
That's cool. That looks fun.
And she is also an indigenous artist. The last two, they like share what their tribal affiliation is. And then there's some other white girls like me who are trying to be respectful and learn and but still enjoy this art form. Urban Folktale. Her stuff is kind of dreamy, I guess. I'm so excited that I finally found where they hid likes.
Oh yeah, now you can find them again.
I think she's the one who had she's using polymer clay. Yeah, she's using polymer clay with her
Oh,
stuff.
that's cool.
And like then doing beaded fringe off of that. And I hadn't really seen anybody
that's
doing
very
that.
pretty. That looks fun.
And this other girl, Tender Unweavings, she's a little bit like, she's the edgiest one of the ones that I've kind of fallen for. Her husband asked for earrings with a theme of is it Esme from Why do we even have that lever? What is her name?
Yzma.
Yzma. When Yzma tries to do her poisoning potion, and
Yeah.
it's this perfect, like, drippy skull. It's in a reel, so it'll take a second to see, but it's hot pink and black with
Yeah.
a drippy skull as the fringe.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, her stuff is so that's like, I think that's like the poof that comes
Yeah.
out of the
poison bottle.
Yep.
Cute.
Just really cool stuff. So
Nice.
those are the people I'm obsessed with.
That's a lot of people.
Yep. Well, when you're like, I mean, I played with bead stitching and all that for a long time, but stepped away from it for also a long time, like any fits and spurts with me. One more. Mortal female. They're beetles.
Oh yeah,
that's
scarabs.
cool.
That's really pretty.
It's stunning.
That's
So
very
look,
pretty.
it looks black on one side, and then it looks like when she turns them, the fringe has this
like
teal iridescent.
Yeah, it was so pretty.
Very pretty.
I tagged my favorite beetle, Dr. Beetle. Do you guys follow her? She makes these insanely gorgeous beetle themed knitted things, and then
that
she
sounds cool.
she's an entomologist, so she tries to dress in her theme.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was talking about all the bead stitching. Karin had some
I have
gorgeous
another person
things
that I'm obsessed with on Instagram who also does great beaded jewelry, bracelets, all kinds of ankle bracelets, called Matilda.Miyuki, because the beads are Miyuki beads, Miyuki, Matilda with an H. And like, look,
Oh my God,
Kahlo.
Frida!
There's earrings. She does these really interesting shapes so that they're like the Frida Kahlo with a shading for her face. She has
Miyuki beads are so satisfying to use.
they really are.
They're so perfectly uniform, and they just like snap together like Legos.
Look at this one with a Bambi and a flower.
Oh, beautiful.
That's so cute. But the shading that she does, I mean, she must. I don't know how she plans it out. Not quite sure with this
But
one.
lots of graph paper. You can buy
Who are
graph
these?
paper in your beading stitch. Oh, it's because your boys are grown. It's Elsa and Anna.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I see. I could also do the translation, but sometimes it doesn't, because today
Where
is
would
the
you
day.
guess she's from?
She
It's
could
like a
be from the
Cyrillic.
Ukraine, actually.
Yeah, it's like a Cyrillic.
Yeah. So I don't, and I haven't. But she. Oh, look at this one with the butterfly. In the
Oh my
hand.
gosh, that's gorgeous.
I mean, these are like wearable pieces of art.
well, and
Very
that's the
cool.
thing. Beading is really like a culturally universal. But of course, each culture has like taken it in a certain direction.
And this one is going to make me become a cat lady.
Oh, it's
I've
so
already sort of
cute.
become the neighborhood cat lady.
You only have one.
No.
Oh, you foster others.
This poor kid, our neighbor's cat. We already have problems with him, and I know if I report them for their abuse, the way that it's not going to help the kitties. This neighbor cat does not meow. It's kind of like do you know who Elaine Stritch was?
Yes.
Imagine her rough, gruff voice in a cat.
Oh, interesting.
It's not a meow, it's more it's like this weird sound. And this cat is bony thin, like so undernourished that when my middle son drives home, she goes over to his car and waits in the street for him to open the door so she can meow and get some attention from him. And so we're like, I do not want to be the person that leaves food out for everybody in the neighborhood. Especially, we have a lot of possums now, and I don't know what they're going to eat.
Well, they will eat your cat food.
They will.
Yeah.
So I wait till the cat's there, and she will try to force her way into our house, of which our cat will not like that. But it's like at 4:30 in the morning, my husband's trying to get out the door, and she's on their porch meowing at him at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And so I do take a little plate of dry food out there for her, and we've always left water for him. But
We have a perfectly well taken care of neighbor cat that comes in our garage and tries to come in our house, but I keep threatening that I'm going to steal her just because she's so cute. The other night she was where James and I watch TVs in like an upstairs room, and behind our chairs are like the windows, and then you could see out onto like the roof because it's the second floor. She was on our roof looking in our window, and I was already in bed. And James was like, "Hello," and so he scared her away.
How did she get up to your window?
Cats can jump high. I think she jumped onto the fence and then onto the roof. But he had like a canned air, like for dusting. They sprayed at her and it scared the poop out of her. She ran away. But I understand, like, I want to steal my neighbor's cat, but this cat's perfectly well taken care of. But I still just want her because she's very cute. So I keep threatening to, and he's like, "No, this is not your cat." I'm like, "But look how cute she is."
My coworker just retired at some time in my knowing her the last 3 years. I believe she had like up to 9 cats.
Oh no!
And they all came to her in the way that like.
No, I'm not going to be that person.
But she lets her cats be indoor, outdoor. And
Yeah.
she really gives it a long time before she considers that she's adopted a cat into her brood.
I worked very hard this weekend to make sure that when I worked from home on Monday, I actually could stay home. And then my mother-in-law calls from downstairs and says, that cat's meowing at me and I'm breaking my heart. But I don't want to come upstairs to get the food. Can you bring it down? I go, no, I've already given that cat food today. And I'm not going to feed that cat multiple times a day. No, but it's so heartbreaking. I'm like, walk away. Okay. Just walk away.
If you gave that cat, I'm just going to be a devil's advocate for 2 seconds. If you gave that cat food in the morning, like, it's been nourished.
Yeah.
It's not starving. It just likes you guys.
Yeah.
It really does.
And it wants more food.
And you don't, even though you don't like these neighbors, and they do sound really hostile and horrible from past stories.
They still block our driveway with their stupid truck.
Like, I read on Nextdoor one time, somebody in my neighborhood had to ask the neighborhood to stop feeding her cat when it's out because it has medicated cat food. And it's like, yes, it asks for food and it seems hungry, but she has a strict diet of what she eats at home.
See, if something happens to that cat because I've been feeding it this whole time, I'm going to be responsible. Now, I don't give a whole amount. I have this paper plate.
You shouldn't feel guilty that you did not come downstairs to that kitty.
No, we'd already fed the cat that one time. I'm like, I asked my mother-in-law, when does it stop? At what point do we stop? I'm like, I am not going to start feeding every cat that comes to our door. That's not the message I want to send. You're going to get a reputation
from the kitties in the neighborhood.
I know.
But go to her house.
I do want to adopt the possum that goes to our backyard. I think possums are so cute.
I like possums
terrifying.
too. No, I love possums.
Clown faces.
So scary.
I have another coworker
but
who also feels
but
like
they
that.
can be mean. But okay.
Well, they're tiny little wild animals. I love possums.
Ever since our first apartment, we were newlyweds, and the mama possum with her little tiny baby possums that would very slowly walk after her because they are so slow.
Well, you can sit with my coworker who hates them, but he loves Pikachu and Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
So, Pokemon there is a yellow possum out in the world that looks just like Pikachu.
Really?
Yes.
And I'm talking about like an opossum, like an American opossum.
Yeah, that's right. We're talking about opossum.
And I'm like, look, he's a possum.
They do have, if you freak them out, they stink as bad as skunks.
Yeah,
they have a musk. But, yeah.
Look at that. Golden possum.
Oh, no, that one's
like
cute.
Pikachu. Yeah, he's cute. Yeah, he's fine. Because an opossum is terrifying
because he's so little too.
He has
when
a
he
little,
grows bigger,
knitted thing with him too.
A little blankie or something.
I need a look at his.
How did we get on the topic of possums?
Okay. And possums
Karin
have thumbs.
doesn't want neighborhood cats, but she would like the possum.
How did we get on the topic of cats?
Because I don't know. Oh, because
Karin is defending whether or not she's becoming a cat lady.
Oh, yeah, the beaded cat. Oh, you got it. Cats. I don't care. I'm just curious. I don't remember how we got here.
Sometimes it's fun to think about, like, how did you get here?
How did we get here?
Okay, I am obsessed with one other thing.
Yes.
Top Chef. I finally am discovering after it's had, 20 seasons? Yeah. I'm discovering it for the first time.
I'm late to come to it, too.
But I'm starting with season 11 because that's the first season. I finished season 11. Now I jumped to season 14. I'm starting with people that I know that are on the show. Like when we were watching Guy Fieri's Tournament of Champions. And Shirley Chung came on this most recent season. She was new to the Tournament of Champions, and they talked about her being on Top Chef, coming close to the finals in the first time she was there, and then she was also on season 14. But I didn't find out where she stood there. And we actually ate at her restaurant last Friday, and I'm eating there again this Friday. It's worth the drive to Culver City because it's really, really good, and she has gluten-free options.
Yum.
And the prices are reasonable, actually. It's so I just it's kind of neat to watch her progression after having eaten her food. I did not have her signature dish, but because it's not gluten-free, but her jumbo cheeseburger pot stickers look amazing. They're about the size of your fist.
Oh my God.
And you get 3 of them.
That sounds very filling.
Yes, surprisingly filling, but light. So anyway, I'm obsessed with Top Chef.
Nice.
Katie.
I am obsessed with an Instagram account. Her Instagram handle is Projectarian. So Project Projectarian. She is an amigurumi designer, unlike the likes that you have seen. She makes the most incredible creatures of, octopuses, hermit crabs, a lemur. She has this really super cool, like, African slug millipede thing. She also does this really cool thing. Like, she has this, I think it's a green tiger. And it is crocheted as a base, and it looks amazing finished. And then she needle felts the fur onto it. And it is, like, the most impressive amigurumi project I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And, like, the little lemur she made. Look at his little, like, tail.
I love it.
They're, like, super realistic, but also, like, cute, at the same time. This is the needle felted tiger that's, like, a crocheted base. And he's lime green. She's working, and you can buy her patterns, too. I don't know about for all of them.
The pineapple crab is adorable. It's a pineapple that folds out into a crab with a shell.
Look at this little baby hippo. He's so cute. So you can buy her patterns.
Details are amazing.
She has one coming out for a cat, like a house cat. That I am very excited. Like, these are the eyes she posted today. The eyes of the kitty cat that is coming out for this pattern. And I just cannot wait to see what it looks like.
I love that she puts all the detail on before she builds it out more.
They're super detailed. They're so fun to look at. And look at this turtle. He could take his little shell off and then he's naked.
That's so fun.
Yeah, they're super cool.
Isn't it sad that that's not how it really is?
Yeah, that is a little sad. But look at this caterpillar. He with his little fuzzy little spots. They're super cool.
Some of these, these amigurumi, but they're not like the tiny amigurumi that I'm used to. These are. I love all the squid.
Like, look at this. This is a millipede. Look at how many little legs she has to make and sew on. I mean, a millipede has a million legs, right? That's why they call it that. But I found her on Instagram when I was just farting around, digging around one day. So
you're like real happy and you're looking at that real cuteness.
I
have a palette cleanser for the cuteness, Karin.
Oh, you found it. We were sitting here waiting for Karin.
I mean, you can like it if you like it, but I don't like it.
Look at this thing I found.
Oh my gosh, that's all beads?
Yeah. So, at first it's like, whoa! And then it's like, oh.
It looks like a stuffed animal piggy, but then you look closer and it's like fully bead.
Oh my god, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
You have to send me a screenshot of this, so I will post a picture of it. It's so creepy. Like, I just can't imagine the way it feels.
Available.
It's so weird. Is this like a product you can buy, or
no? It's someone's handiwork.
Gold medal winner beading contest.
I don't want to make fun of anybody.
Gold medal winner
by Lorna Dwyer Carfano. Dark Carfano.
And maybe it's better in person.
Maybe I want to simultaneously. I want to touch it. And I don't want to touch
it.
So fully beat it.
Well, see, Karin had the perfect reaction of wow and
whoa.
It's just
that'll do, pig.
Glass
that'll do.
I want to know how big it is. Does it say?
It might.
The beads don't look that huge. It looks like it's just like the size of your finger.
You gotta send me.
They're preciosas, which they're number 11 beads. Which, oh my goodness, that's so much work.
Yeah, those are small, right?
Yeah, they're the size that you normally would think of as a conventional seed bead.
Okay, but it says going back to your millipede, it says it's a no-sew millipede.
Okay, maybe the body is like the underside attaches the legs to the top or something.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't want to make any of her patterns.
I want to make that one.
I want to look at them.
Yeah.
I don't want to make all those legs.
I would like to touch one.
Yeah. I like the kitty. Oh, I haven't seen the kitty cat yet.
Look at the
I'm
eyes
excited
on
about
that
the kitty
crab.
Cat. They're super cool.
So cool.
Well, God bless you, Lorna Dwyer Carfano.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's much better in person.
I think the title of this episode is going to be Learning About Types of Camels and Beaded Piggies. Something like that. There's something in there. I'll figure it out. All right. Well, I think that's it for us today.
Yeah, I think so.
In 2 weeks.
What a delight.
Yeah. In 2 weeks, you can listen to our book club episode about Circe by
Madeline Miller.
Madeline Miller, yes. Which got good reviews from one of my students today. So If you want to read that, and you can listen to our episode that's out now about Fight Night by Miriam Taves, was the latest book that we listened to.
Very good.
We all thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was a quick read, so you could, read it and listen to our episode if you are so inclined. I'll post pictures of everything that we talked about and links to the Instagram accounts on our Instagram page at Strings and Things Studio. And I think that is it for us tonight, so we'll see you guys next month.
The end.
Bye.
Bye.
Strings Unraveled is a production of Strings and Things Studio with Anne Leckervin-Cazzoli, Kaity Von Rader-Fraker, and Karin Wilmoth. Recorded and edited by Kaity Von Rader-Fraker. Find us online at stringsandthingsstudio.com or on Facebook or Instagram at Strings and Things Studio. You can email us at stringsandthingsinfo@gmail.com.